Welcome, everyone. My name is Anna Tate. I am an attorney, and I am also your product expert for family law software. With me today is attorney Nancy Schaefer. She is also an attorney and a product expert for family law software. So today, Nancy will be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. As we go along, if you already have a question, just get it going and we'll get those answered. Today's Power webinar is a 30-minute webinar focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is going to be client data entry. So it's going to be a mix of PowerPoint presentation along with live demonstration. So let's get started on client data entry. I guess number one is, what is client data entry? So if you knew or did not know, family law software allows your clients to enter their own information online. This is included in every level of family law software. So it does not matter if you are using desktop or if you're using cloud. Today's demonstration will be in the cloud, but all of this functionality is also available in the desktop. So how do we do this? Let me share my screen, which is now Family Law Software Cloud. I log in with my email and my password. So I have decided that I have a new client, and this particular client, I want them to enter their financial information online for me. Who is a good candidate for client data entry? Any client can do this. I promise. We have a ton of legal aid organizations that use our product, and they also have their clients doing client data entry. But the client must have internet access and must be ready to enter their financial information online. So how do we do this? So number one, you have to decide that a new file is going to get started. This must happen on step one, which is new. So I am in the cloud. I am in File Manager, and I'm going to click New. How do I allow my client to enter their data? Number one, it has to be a new file. And number two, I have to register them. So anytime that you have started a family law software file, you've had the option of the file only being for your office. Your client will never be able to enter data for the file. This is for you and your team alone, and we call that new file. If you want your client to enter their own information online, the kids' names, the date of birth, the house, income, expenses, you register the client. It's the only time that family law software will ask for your client's email address. And again, this must be done at inception with the file. How did I do that? So I went into the cloud. I went into File Manager. I click New and Register. So then I would put in the last name, and then I would put in the email address, whatever that is, and the other party, and the last name. State of filing is going to be your billing address. So this is how we determine like which state you're in. And then this last question, who is going to get the confirmation emails? So if you are in a multi-user firm, you'll see multiple names here or multiple email options. And then you click register. That's it. But what happens when you click register? So once you click register, let me show you the email chain that is going to follow. So let's go back to my PowerPoint presentation. Instantly, once you click registration, this is the pop-up that you are going to see. For webinar purposes, I've already gone through this and screenshotted it so that you can see this. So if you were to make the new file, register the client, this is instantly the pop-up that you'll see within the cloud. And it confirms that your client, so Anna Demo, at annotate at Centerbase, this is all the client's information here. And it lets you know that this process was successful. What else is simultaneously going to happen? You as the professional or the person you selected from the dropdown, this is the email to the pro, this is the email that's going to go into your inbox. Please check your spam. So if you've ever contacted support or the team or gone through this process and you did not get these emails, please go to your spam folder and check for them there. It will be there, and let them know that it is not spam. And so it'll say, hello lawyer, hello mediator, hello financial professional. It's going to be your name here. We're writing to let you know that you have registered this client on this date and time, which means that they are now enabled to start the process with Family Law Software. This is what you're going to see as the professional. Instantly, though, what is the client going to see? And this is the email that we at Family Law Software are going to send to your client. And all of this process is instantaneous. It says, dear Anna, demo client, your attorney, which is confusing, which is myself, wants you to enter their information online. This is 100% web-based. Even if you are a desktop user, your client is still going to use the online portal. We let them know that there's no extra charge from us from going through this process. And we tell them how to register. So this is, you don't have to worry about this. We are doing this for you. And we're giving them a little bit of information about us and how to get help. So we let the client know that they can contact you, the professional, or they can email us at support@familylawsoftware.com. As a professional, don't worry. If they email us, we are only giving them tech support. We will not give them legal advice, and we're very, very clear on that. We help the client with email password issues. We help them with technical type issues, but we will not help them with legal issues. And if you've used us in the past before, we let you know if there's been an issue with your client. We're very vocal with you guys who are the subscribers about what is going on. Okay. So we're going over that email chain that is going through. So then what happens? Once your client gets this email, hopefully they register. So you've invited them to be a part of this process, but the client still has to register. They have to agree by setting up an account with Family Law Software. So they have to create a password. They have their email, they have their password. That's 100% up to them to go through that process. Again, this could go to spam, so you might need to email the client and let them know if you think that that is what's happened, because it can happen to them as well. All right. What does the client see? Once the client registers with their email and password and they log in, this is what the client sees. We've tried to keep it as clean and as simple as possible. Your client is going to see background information, their names, the kids' names. They have an income section. So let's say Martha is the client. This is income for Martha. These are expenses for Martha. So if my client is Martha, these are her folders. Family Law Software is a two-party system. So if the spouse or other parent, their folders are here. Income and expenses for the other party. Family Law Software allows for collaboration, meaning that Martha and Kevin could access this client data entry. The caveat being that they would have to share the login information. They would have to share the email password combination, and they could both enter data into this file. They cannot do it simultaneously. Again, it would require them to share the email password credentials. And so if you are in a collaborative setting or in a mediation setting and you feel like the parties are civil enough that they can manage this, then you can encourage that. Last are assets and debts. Again, because Family Law Software is a two-party system, we just assume everything is marital until you as the professional tell us otherwise. And so we allow the clients to enter assets and liabilities as well. You're going to see that the client is able to check done. And so this lets the client know and keep track of what they have done. And finally, when the client feels like they are done, we have this button at the bottom, which is what we call done for now. Done for now, because this is obviously a process. I am done for now. Please email my professional to let them know. So again, remember, this is what the client is going to see. It's as clean as possible. It's folder based, and they're able to check off when they are done. It can be used in a collaborative setting. If the client clicks done for now, you as the professional are going to receive, well, the client will be notified that an email has gone out to you, the professional. And then last, as the professional, this is the last email you get in the process. You as the professional. It says, "Dear professional," the name of the client. They are ready to discuss data entry with you. And we give you the information for you to go into your portal and go check out what the client has done. If you are a desktop user, we also have the instructions there. If you're a desktop user, you have to download their file from our cloud source where the file is located, and you're able to download what the client has done. If there's any questions, please pop them in the chat. Nancy, if there's any questions about the email chain, let me know, because we are going to go back into Family Law Software Cloud and look at what you as the pro will see.
Let me just say one thing. For mediation clients where they're both putting the information in one file, currently you have to use one email for both parties to enter their data in the same file. So they will pick an email to use. Sometimes I have mediation clients set up a separate email, like a Gmail or Yahoo, some Hotmail, something that's free and easy to access, that they can both access that email. And they would use that email and a password they set up and share between themselves to access the file, because you want them to be putting in the information into one file, not separate files. Okay.
Awesome practice tip, Nancy. So for those of you that are collaborative professionals, mediators, or where you could see this being applicable into your cases, that is an excellent practice tip. All right, so let's get back into a live demonstration about what we are talking about. So let's go back into Family Law Software Cloud. Once you register the client, so again, for those of you that might have come a little late, what we did is we created a new file, we registered the client. Once you register the client, it can be really tempting to go to your shared files to see the file. When you click shared files, these are all clients that have been registered in Family Law Software, with the caveat that they have also logged in once. You will not see your client's file here until they have logged in and created a password and gotten into the cloud software platform. If you don't see their name here and you know that you have registered them, you just have to email the client separately and say, "Hi, we registered you for Family Law Software. Please check your spam or let us know if you're having technical issues." So know that this list is only clients that have logged in. They've set up an email and a password. All of these clients are able to enter their data online, except for this client, Christy, and this client, Anna. They've been locked out of their file. And so once you receive that email that says Martha is done and Martha is ready for you to review their information, you could instantly lock out Martha. And then you as the professional can review this file. The other option you have is here, you can make a copy of the file so that you know exactly what Martha has done, and you can date that file or however you want to manage these files. Let's see what Martha's done. So I locked out Martha just for peace of mind. Martha can no longer enter data. So let's open Martha's file. What's going to happen is now the program is open for the professional viewer. So whatever state you're in, you're going to see that you can go through the data to see it, or the practice tip that we have for you is, let's just go to a summary report. If I click reports, I could click more reports and planners. So I could instantly just go check out a budget report. All of this data that you see in the left-hand column was entered by Martha, the person that I registered for client data entry. I could click PDF and confirm with Martha that these are all of the income and expenses that she has entered. I might also want to take a look at the right side and see if she entered anything for Kevin. If you didn't want her to enter anything for Kevin, you're going to want to see a bunch of zeros. Obviously, if there's any numbers here, that means that your client entered them for the other party. So you'll see all of that here on a side-by-side basis. And so the other thing that you could do is under reports, if you wanted to see what they entered for assets and liabilities, you could go to the property statement, and everybody has access to these forms. These are the generic financial forms that Family Law Software creates for all users, regardless of the state that you're in. And I could click PDF and I see that Martha has entered a piece of property, a couple of bank accounts. She's got some personal items and a retirement account. So this is a great summary for you to see what your client has done. If you come to any of these reports and you see a bunch of zeros, it doesn't mean the file's broken. It means Martha didn't do anything. And so in that case, if you're reviewing this information either in a financial report style, so these are all reports that you can pull that are generic, or under enter data, I could instantly go to the child support calculation or the affidavit to see it in the style of my particular state. I will be able to see exactly what my client has done. Again, if you see a bunch of blanks, if you see that you are not satisfied with what the client has entered, just go and email that client and let them know it's time to check it, or just be done with it. At that point, you've locked them out of the file, and you as the professional can just start going in and making changes yourself. So all of this data is now, you can enter it, and then you can let the client back in, or you can just keep the file for yourself and yourself alone. As the professional, something—
Anna, let me
Yes,
just
Nancy.
make one comment. If you leave the shared file as the working file that you're going to maybe lock, but then use to update and fine tune the information, then later on, if you need the client to update the information, like let's say the case has been going on for more than a year and you want to update their financial disclosure, or you need updated information for settlement, you can unlock the file and let them go in it. If you make a copy of the file, then it's going to become your own file. It's like a save as. Think of it like a Word document. If you do a save as, it's a separate file, and the client does not have access, and it will be in the Anna's files, in your files, and it won't be a shared file anymore. So the shared file will still exist, but it won't be updated with the information as you update your own file. So it just depends on your practice. So when Anna's saying you can rename the file and put a date on it, whatever, that is the copy of the client's data. So if you think of it like a Word file or an Excel file, it's a separate file. It's made a copy. and the client can't get into that one. They won't have access to it. Coming soon, instead of two separate lists, it will all be on one list, but that won't change the function that the client can only get into the shared file. Okay,
And you'll know again that it's a shared file because they will have the function of locking and unlocking a client out of that file. And so as Nancy was speaking, I was going over the copy function and showing you all where the copy was going, which was my files as the professional. The last thing that you will see as the professional, when I open my client's shared file that we have together. So let's go back into this file that I have open. This is what the client sees. So if you recall in the PowerPoint presentation, I showed you this. And so as the professional, you'll still have your entire menu over here to the left. And if I click data as the client sees it, this is that same screen that your client sees with the same folders and the same markings of done, and I can open the income. This is what your client sees. It is very different from what the professional sees. We've tried to make it easier for the client, for them to work their way through and enter the information. And so when I'm in a shared file and I click data as client sees it, I'm able to go through the data in the method that my client went through the data. This lets you offer help to the client, but it also lets you as the professional see what the client sees. And so that is our goal at Family Law Software, to make this process as easy as possible for your clients to enter their information, easy for you as the professional to keep track of what they have done, easy for you to collaborate. And so that is our presentation on client data entry. It all starts from inception, which was the file manager. And we started that new file by clicking new, and we registered the client. So we really encourage all of you to do this. It is included in your subscription. So you, as the paralegal or attorney or professional, make a fake client. Put in a name, put in your shopping email address, click register, and you will be able to see the process from start to finish, which we have shown through the PowerPoint presentation and through live demonstration. We encourage you to test it so that you can see the entire process. Make sure that these emails are not going into spam, and see how easy it is to set up and start. All right, thank you so much for joining us.
Wait, I've got a couple of things I want to say. We've got a couple more minutes. If you could, Anna, show them the reports, more reports page.
Yep.
And if you look at report 6 and report 17, that the budget report is all of the income and expense. And the report 17 is the property statement. And that is all of the assets and liabilities. So when I get the notification from the client that they're done for now, that Anna showed you, I go in and I print or PDF those two reports. I can look at them visually. I can click on report options and decide what options I want to set or not set for each report. Do I want to include the valuation date? I don't need to include the graph. I can uncheck the graph. I might want to include the title and asset title, and then I PDF it and send it back to the client. So it could be within 5 minutes of getting that done for now email, depending on the time of day, of course. I can send them back these two reports and say, here is a summary of all of the information you entered. Please review it and make sure it's accurate and complete. And then when I visually look at it, I might notice something that's odd or out of place. Let's say they put in $1,200 a month for auto insurance instead of that being an annual or a semi-annual number. They put it in as a monthly number. And you can tell because you look through these expenses, and then there might be a, $1,200 for auto insurance. And I might say, double check that. I'm not sure that's correct. Okay. And then I let them, in my practice, normally I'd have them give me the changes that they want to make, and we make them. But that's also an opportunity for you to unlock or make sure that the client file is unlocked and they can add anything in. Like I had one a while back where the client didn't put any checking accounts in. And I said, don't you have a checking account? And the response I got was, oh, I didn't think of that as an asset, because we don't really keep much money in there. So I said, okay, do me a favor, put it in, because it, of course, would normally be considered an asset in our business. Let me just go through the last few questions. Joanne asked, it separates the information for each party if and only if they entered it into one file. So how do you know which file was entered into? I only send, if I have a mediation or I'm working with both parties as a neutral, in California, of course, many people, there are divorce professionals that do this. When I send them the link, I only send it to one email address, and they have to share that access, share the password, and they're both entering the data into one file. Otherwise, you're dealing with two sets of information, and you can't do any of the fun stuff to help them reach settlements by looking at the whole financial picture. Okay, so I would definitely have them all do it together. Shelley asks, is there an ability to print to Word for the affidavits? No, but you can print a PDF, and then you can, in Adobe, change it to a Word document if you really wanted to. I don't know why you would need Word for the affidavit. The PDF that we do is editable, so to speak. If you allow the clients to do their own data entry, you still request a list of documents? Yes. And Anna, if you go back into the data as the client sees it page, you will see at the top of that page is click here for a list of financial documents that will be helpful. And that list is generally the documents that we ask for. So you can have them refer to that list easily, or you can send them your own list. And yes, I would have them still send me the documents unless for whatever reason I don't need them. Can I send comments through? I'm not sure what comments you're talking about through Family Law Software. I'll go to the next question. If you have only information for one client, yes, I wait till the other client. So if I'm in a litigated case or non-collaborative, I wait to get their financial disclosure, and then I enter it into my software so that I have the information for both parties in one file. That is the magic of Family Law Software. The cloud-based version, only the file manager option. File manager is only in the cloud. In the desktop version, we have files and settings, and we don't have your files in our cloud. You have your files stored wherever you set them to be stored. And yes, Joanne, it would separately populate each party's disclosures. And there is a setting, Anna, maybe you can show on the assets and liabilities, for example. No, go to assets and liabilities. And at the top, so open one section. And you will see that one of the fields here is whose affidavit it's going to appear on. The default is it will appear on both. So if you click in the affidavit field, you can set it for both or for only one or the other party's affidavits. Okay. The document list in FLS, we just showed you. The request for information is not in through Family Law Software. That would be a separate email to the client. In terms of a feature to personalize the list of documents for clients to assemble, we have no plans to do that now. We have added a generic list, and you can certainly supplement that yourselves. Can the client change what you have already put into the program? Only if you leave it open and you are still in the shared file. If you have done a save as to make it your own file, then they cannot change the data. But if it were like this Martha file here, it's open, the client could go in and change it. Okay, PDFs can usually be translated to Word using OCR. Yes, that's true. Okay, can a client, okay, we answered that one. Okay, thank you very much for all the good information. And that's the end of our webinar for today. And don't forget to sign up for the other webinars next week. We are doing property division, I believe. And I'm sorry, next week we're doing file manager. So we'll talk more about these types of issues. And then the week after that is property division. So have a good week, everybody. And the video will be on our website in a couple of days. Thank you.